generationally we have come from an era where if we weren't hustling, most likely we will not survive. So feminine energy, Maitri, basically is the energy of flow of life itself. It's all about creation, intuition, nurturing, and a deep embodied wisdom. And when I say feminine, masculine, I don't mean the genders, I mean the energy. सो क्या उसको रेज या फिर क्या उसको टैप करने की एनर्जी है विदाउट शेम विदाउट फियर without pointing fingers 100% absolutely there is a massive rejection of femininity and feminine which happens on an everyday basis. No matter how empowered we become, we will still be like aise to nahi rehna. We have started to feel ashamed of our own gender and of our own energies, and that is something which has been passed on to us. Even today agar aap kisi ko bologe to tell somebody that you're a feminist has actually become an insult. इसी प्रकार अपनी मैनिफेस्टेशन को भी एक बार अपॉर्चुनिटी तो दो, लेट गो तो करो, होने तो दो. दैट्स आल्सो फेमिनिन टू लेट गो.
Hello, Sassy Nari. Welcome to Little Fixes podcast. And thank you so much for joining me. This is your host, Matri. On this podcast, we talk about mental health, freedom, relationships and personal growth. तो आजकल feminine energy को बहुत ज़्यादा press मिल रही है. Like everyone is talking about it. A lot of influencers are in their soft girl era. और ये अच्छी बात है. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी विद इट. बट होता क्या है कि जब किसी चीज़ के बारे में बहुत सारी बात होने लगती है तो उसको हम एक फैड की तरह लेने लगते हैं कि हाँ ये अभी बहुत चल रहा है इसलिए सब लोग इसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, थोड़े दिनों बाद सब भूल जाएंगे. पर फेमिनिन एनर्जी ऐसी नहीं है. फेमिनिन एनर्जी हैज ऑलवेज बिन देयर, इट विल ऑलवेज बी देयर. तो इस एपिसोड में वील डिस्कस कि फेमिनिन एनर्जी क्या होता है, मैस्कुलिन एनर्जी क्या होता है, उनका बैलेंस क्या होता है, क्यों चाहिए. तो क्रिएटिविटी, आवर इमोशंस, एक्सेप्टेंस, हीलिंग, even our menstrual cycles, everything is related to our feminine energy. And in this episode we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about कि हम कैसे अपनी डिवाइन फेमिनिन से कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं, कैसे अपनी फेमिनिन एनर्जी को रेज कर सकते हैं, और कौन कौन से इसके लिए रिचुअल्स होते हैं, सिंपल चीज़ें होती हैं जो हम डे टू डे लाइफ में भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. तो इन सारी चीज़ों को हमने डिस्कस किया है इस एपिसोड में. एंड आई इनवाइट यू टू लिसन टू इट विद एन ओपन माइंड, क्योंकि फेमिनिनिटी के साथ बहुत सारी शेम एसोसिएटेड है. फेमिनिन होना खराब है, बुरा है, नीचा मान लेते हैं और मैस्कुलिन एनर्जी को ऊपर रखते हैं. द फैक्ट इज कि दोनों एनर्जीज जरूरी हैं इस वर्ल्ड के लिए. ये सारी चीजें डिस्कवर करने के लिए प्लीज ज्वाइन मी एंड माय गेस्ट नेहा गोयल. नेहा गोयल इज अ ट्रॉमा इन्फॉर्म्ड कोच, अ डीएनए एस्ट्रोलॉजर, अ न्यूमरोलॉजिस्ट एंड अ टैरो रीडर. सो लेट्स गेट इनटू इट. Hi Neha, welcome to Little Fixes.
Hello, Maitri. So excited to be here.
I'm very excited because feminine energy, feminism, anything actually related to women is my favorite topic. तो feminine energy का जो concept है मुझे कुछ साल पहले ही पता चला है, तो it is relatively new to me.
Hmm.
And I am also coming as a learner, so please pardon if I ask any silly questions.
No question is ever silly. All questions are always welcome, and I think that's the beauty of divulging, indulging in our feminine energy.
यस, क्योंकि मेरा सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन ही यही है कि अभी कुछ टाइम पहले मार्क ज़करबर्ग का एक स्टेटमेंट आया था वेयर ही हैड सेड कि कॉर्पोरेट में फेमिनिन एनर्जी ज़्यादा हो गई है, इट हैज़ बिकम न्यूटर्ड, वी नीड मोर मैस्कुलिन एनर्जी. डज इट इवन मेक सेंस? कहना क्या चाह रहा था एग्जैक्टली तो वही जानता होगा, बट व्हाट डज इट मीन टू यू?
I definitely can't speak for him, but probably, there are certain hints which we get when world as in general has become uncomfortable with ease. So where there is a tapping into ease, where there is no hustle happening, where there is no chop 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 happening, sometimes bigger corporates they get intimidated by that, because if they are not able to see whatever success means to them, whatever, and which as per them comes through only hustle, hustle, hustle. So whenever life in general is indicating a little bit of comfort and ease, certain minds don't understand that, because I would say it's not even their fault. Generationally, we have come from an era where if we weren't hustling, most likely we will not survive. And
Hmm.
even though those situations were created, such as the economical dumps, such as the war situations, that seeping into our emotional well being was not a priority for them. But those are the people from whom we have come. And therefore, every now and then we get to hear such words as you mentioned, this gentleman is saying, where just being yourself or having a sacred pause is being shamed.
Hmm.
So he speaks for himself, but today we are here also to speak about the feminine energy. And he can say whatever it is. This is an expansive energy. This is an energy which, once it has been given wings, it will create. In fact, as we go further, that's what we will realize. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Yes, आई एम वेरी एक्साइटेड टू टॉक अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दैट। और अभी अगर हम इंटरनेट को देखें तो
Mm.
अ लॉट ऑफ क्रिएटर्स आर टॉकिंग अबाउट बीइंग इन देयर सॉफ्ट गर्ल एरा, है
Mm-hmm.
ना। और बहुत सारे लोग शेयर कर रहे हैं कि ये हैबिट होनी चाहिए अगर आपको अपनी फेमिनिन एनर्जी को रेज
Mm.
करना है, डिवाइन फेमिनिन में जाना है। तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, और जब किसी चीज़ के बारे में ज़्यादा बात होने लगती है तो कई बार फिर हम उसको फैड मानने लगते हैं
Mm-hmm.
कि अरे सबको ही बात कर रहा है क्योंकि सबको व्यूज चाहिए। जैसे कोई भी
Mm.
टॉपिक इंटरनेट पे उठा लो उसमें यही होता है। तो मुझे ये लगता है, व्हाट आई बिलीव, कि फेमिनिन एनर्जी कोई फैड नहीं है, बिकॉज फीमेल्स हैव ऑलवेज बीन देयर। इसके बारे में इतना ज़्यादा बात हो रहा है
Mm.
बिकॉज पीपल आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट, है
Mm-hmm.
ना। तो फ्रॉम यू नेहा, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट डज फेमिनिन एनर्जी मीन टू यू,
Mm.
and is why is it essential for our existence, for everyone to thrive?
Yeah. So, feminine energy, Maitri, basically is the energy of flow of life itself. It's all about creation, intuition, nurturing, and a deep embodied wisdom. But as you mentioned, that things sometimes they get a bad name because people generally look at them as a fad. But this is exactly what happens, that in a world which is obsessed with speed, logic, a constant doing, feminine energy here comes as an offer of a sacred pause. It's that space where things grow, emotions are processed, and basically true magic and manifestation, which is what we all want, truly happens. Because without it, if you think about it, Maitri, there will be a burnout, there will be a disconnect. People will forget how to simply just be. And for the world to thrive, we really need that balance of both masculine. Masculine, by the way, is an offer of a structure in our life, which we also require. And feminine is the offer of the flow, of in depth, of going within. And when we embrace both the feminine and energy, by not even discarding the masculine energy, we create
Mm.
a world which feels very safe. You see, it
Yes.
heals us and it nurtures us, because isn't there a lack of safety these days in the world? And not just for the females, I would say in
Yes.
general, for every gender there is a little lack of safety. And this is where the power of the feminine energy comes into picture, where we create safe spaces for each other by nurturing, by going in depth, by understanding each other's emotions. You just mentioned about the influencers, that with the recent influencer news going on also, everybody is so out there to attack people.
Mm.
If we were really thriving in the feminine energy, it will be that energy which will understand the power of acceptance, that we all are, after all, human beings, that we all make mistakes, that if somebody has offered so much to the world, and if that person somehow, somewhere, even once makes a tiny mistake, that we really make living hell for them. And which is the exactly the opposite, how in feminine energy we thrive and we nurture and we understand where they may be coming from, where everything is accepted, where everything is understood. And also, Maitri, acceptance does not mean that it is powerless. Sometimes
Mm.
when I work with women, they often tell me that I'm not accepting this because then that will disempower me. And I hear them because that is how we have been. The introduction of femininity to a lot of us women intergenerationally hasn't been that great. The
Hmm.
feminine examples that we saw around us were suppressed. We saw around us was such that घर की शांति बना के रखनी है तो चुप रहो. The ones that who we saw around us are such that that they, even though they were MBAs or they were PhDs or even if they were masters, they couldn't do anything because they weren't allowed to. So which is why a lot of times women I work with, and even males that I so males have grown up seeing such women, and women have also grown up seeing such women. So males now expect that from the females that they come into purview with, and females reject that because they are like, that's not how I want to be. But that is where, in today's day and age, where the circumstances, the situations may not be the same as they were earlier, it is a beautiful time. And if we really embrace it, if we really accept it, which we must, because feminine energy, the myth is that it's only for women, and that's
Hmm.
untrue. Even men must experience ease, nurturing, their emotions, their well-being, and to go within such that their burnouts and so many physical and mental issues do not happen or are
Mm-hmm.
curtailed. I mean, we can't really say that
Yes.
they will never happen, but at least they can be curtailed.
तो क्या हर किसी की बॉडी में, चाहे वो मेल हो या फीमेल हो,
Hmm.
मैस्कुलिन और फेमिनिन एनर्जी का परफेक्ट बैलेंस होना चाहिए फॉर दिस ऑप्टिमम, फॉर एन ऑप्टिमम वर्ल्ड आई वुड से, और
Hmm.
कुछ और है रेशियो, आई डोंट नो।
बैलेंस को ना हमने थोड़ा सा जो हमारी समझ में पहले से है, एंड आई कुड बी रॉन्ग, शायद लोग अलग से समझते हो, बट बैलेंस का मतलब समझते हैं लोग ऐसे कि सेम हो, इक्वल अमाउंट हो,
हाँ,
50-50
फिफ्टी
हो.
फिफ्टी या।
राइट, हर जगह वो, दैट इज नॉट व्हाट बैलेंस मीन्स
हम्म।
एडिक्वेट हो, जितना
हम्म।
रिक्वायर्ड है उतना हो. अब जितना रिक्वायर्ड कई बार 50-50 नहीं होता. Correct.
हम्म।
So even though today we are accepting a lot of genders, but ideally speaking, that ऐसा नहीं है कि there is a femininity in masculinity and there is a masculinity in femininity. The famous symbol of yin and yang, right? So
हम्म।
ऐसा नहीं है कि women, if they are females, and if femininity only means to go within, to not operate in the world, to just lock yourself in the room, we will also take action. For example, right now I'm a female and I'm speaking, which is an outward energy, which is a directional energy, then therefore it is masculine. And similarly for males, when they sleep, when they rest, when they want that nurturing and they go for it, when they go for, let's say, a retreat, and when they embrace each other's emotions, hey bro, what's up, when they do that, they create a community. That is the feminine in them. So now
हम्म।
who is to say ki kisme zyada kisme kam? And as
हम्म।
a yin and yang energy, the symbol says that a little bit of masculine and feminine and a little bit of feminine and masculine, that's how the world stays balanced. And one more thing that I would like to add over here, as a human eye, we are attracted towards symmetry. ठीक है कि
हम्म।
ये एकदम ऐसा होना चाहिए, ये पूरी, but nature is not like that. Nature is asymmetrical. Right, every mountain, when you go to, let's say, a hilly area and you look at it, it looks beautiful, but that is not out of symmetry, that is out of how asymmetric the hills are. That one hill does not look like the other, there is no balance the way we perceive it happening over there. So this hang up that we have to symmetry is pretty psychological, कि equality or equal और ये सब होना चाहिए. And which is where the original question that you ask, कि fad हो गया है कि सारी चीजें अगर वो करती है तो मैं भी करूंगा, या फिर अगर मैं करती हूँ तो वो भी करूंगा. It has That has led to more of a competition rather than really a balance. So yeah,
हम्म।
that's my understanding of it.
ओके, तो बैलेंस को अगर देखें,
Hmm.
जो अभी आपने बोला, तो क्या इस वर्ल्ड को, हर एक
Hmm.
पर्सन को कलेक्टिवली अपनी अपनी फेमिनिन एनर्जी रेज करने की ज़रूरत है आज के दिन में?
देखो, ज़रूरत तो जहाँ पे भी कहीं पे भी डिसबैलेंस है,
हम्म।
मतलब उसको बैलेंस आउट करने के लिए ज़रूरत तो एब्सोल्युटली डेफिनिटली है ही। अब चाहे वो किसी सिचुएशन में फेमिनिनिटी हो, किसी सिचुएशन में मैस्कुलिनिटी हो। एंड व्हेन आई से फेमिनिन, मैस्कुलिन, आई डोंट मीन द जेंडर्स, आई मीन द एनर्जी। सो
या।
क्या उसको रेज़ या फिर क्या उसको टैप करने की एनर्जी है, विदाउट शेम, विदाउट फियर, विदाउट पॉइंटिंग फिंगर्स? 100%, absolutely. And the world that we see out there, as I just gave you the example of that attack, hustle, wars, it's a classic example of why we need now ease and comfort in our life. Recently I was speaking to a group and उन्होंने बोला कि यार कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड इतना हमारे को थका देता है कि अगर हम जाके एक पर्टिकुलर स्टाइल ऑफ कंटेंट कंज्यूम करते भी हैं तो उसमें क्या ही प्रॉब्लम है, फॉरगेटिंग कि उसमें ये प्रॉब्लम है, that it is almost on behest of the other person's mental well-being, right? So वहां पे nurturing वाला element तो चला ही गया. Why? Because they are not nurtured themselves, because they themselves are going through the pain of just being a machine.
Yeah.
So the outward experience that they have, or they what they want to do, is that they want to consume the kind of content these days which is popular. But is it not affecting people mentally? Absolutely, 100%. It is
Yes.
affecting
Yes.
people mentally, and that is pretty evident in what is happening in the world out there today. So,
Mm-hmm.
you're answering your question in an easy way. The answer is absolutely yes. We need to introduce, we need to reintroduce, we need to unashame, we need to unmyth the feminine energy as well. And it's
Mm-hmm.
time now. Like, अगर ये नहीं indication होगा तो फिर और क्या ही indication होगा?
या आई अग्री विथ यू व्हेन यू सेड ना कि लोग बोलते हैं कैसा भी कंटेंट कंज्यूम कर लो क्या
हाँ.
ही फर्क पड़ता है, बट ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि आजकल के ज़माने में हम लोगों से कनेक्टेड नहीं है, राइट? तो जैसे पहले बोला जाता था कि यू आर सम टोटल ऑफ पीपल यू आर सराउंडेड विद, अब वो नहीं रह
आज
गया
भी
बिकॉज
वही
वी आर
है.
नॉट सराउंडेड
बट
विद
आज भी
रियल
वही है
पीपल.
कि यू आर अ
हाँ,
सम टोटल ऑफ पीपल यू आर सराउंडेड विद, एंड इट इज वेरी एविडेंट देन नाउ ना कि द पीपल दैट
हाँ,
यू आर
नाउ इट
सराउंडेड
इज
विद यू वांट टू सराउंड योरसेल्फ
डिजिटल.
विद.
हाँ, इट हैज़ बिकम डिजिटल. अभी पहले होता था कि अमीर दोस्त बनाओ, जो हम लोग को शुरू में माइंडसेट में पढ़ाया गया था कि कैसे अपना मनी का ऑरा रेज़ करना है, समथिंग लाइक दैट, कि आपके दोस्त ऐसे होने चाहिए, आपका सर्कल वैसा होना चाहिए. तो लोगों को लगता है अरे रियल लाइफ़ में मैं थोड़ी ऐसे लोगों से मिल रहा हूँ, मैं तो सिर्फ़ डिजिटल देख रहा हूँ, बट दे आर सराउंडेड बाय दैट. तो वो कहीं न कहीं हमारी साइकी को अफ़ेक्ट करता है. इवन अगर मैं कुछ डार्क देख लेती हूँ, आई ट्राई टू अवॉइड सच थिंग्स, बट समटाइम्स आई एम अट्रैक्टेड, आई वॉच. उसके बाद मेरा थॉट वैसा ही हो जाता है कुछ देर के लिए, या कभी किसी सिचुएशन में वो थॉट आ जाता है, तो इट रियली स्टेज विद अस. ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें कहीं भी इम्पैक्ट नहीं कर रहा, हम अगले दिन जाके फिर से वहीं से शुरू हो गया, ऐसा नहीं होता है. इट इम्पैक्ट्स अस.
इट डज. कभी सोचा है कि ऐसा क्यों होता है कि जब हम हॉरर मूवी देखते हैं उसी रात को सोते हुए डर लगता है?
या.
है ना? एंड कोई भी दूसरी रात या फिर और अगर 10 दिन बीत जाते हैं तो इतना डर नहीं लगता, बिकॉज
हाँ.
हमारा माइंड अब्जॉर्ब करता है, हमारे जो अंदर के ट्रिगर्स हैं वो अब्जॉर्ब करते हैं, हमारे को भूत याद आ रहा है इसीलिए हमें डर लग रहा है. एंड सो वन वेरी वैलिड पॉइंट, इवन दो वो फेमिनिन एनर्जी से कनेक्टेड है बट नॉट डायरेक्टली, इज द काइंड ऑफ कंटेंट दैट वी
हम्म.
एक्सपोज आवरसेल्व्स टू, इज अ क्लासिक दीज डेज. एज यू मेंशन कि पहले अगर फिजिकल फ्रेंड्स होते थे, अब वो डिजिटल कंटेंट हो गया है कि हम क्या कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं. दैट मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस on our psyche and on our well-being and on our decision making and therefore our life. So ये फेमिनिन एनर्जी की वर्कशॉप में मैं बहुत पिक करती हूँ कि व्हाट यू आर एक्सपोजिंग योर सेंसेस टू. नाउ व्हाट आर द सेंसेस? कि द सेंस टू सी, हियर, स्मेल, टच. सो व्हाटएवर यू आर एक्सपोजिंग योर सेंसेस टू, ये इंफॉर्मेशन आपके इंटरनल कंप्यूटर में जा रही है, और वो प्रोसेस तो होगी, और वो प्रोसेस करके
Yeah.
कुछ तो निकलेगा ही. राइट? तभी
हम्म.
हमारे पुराने जमाने में कहते थे कि अगर आप खाना खा रहे हैं तो आराम से बैठ के खाएं, ज़्यादा स्टिम्युलेटेड होके कुछ, या फिर ज़्यादा बहुत ही स्टिम्युलेटेड कंटेंट देखते हुए, इनफैक्ट कंटेंट देखते हुए ना खाएं. कहते थे कि बेडरूम में टीवी नहीं होना चाहिए क्योंकि दैट्स अ प्लेस टू रेस्ट.
हम्म.
राइट? सो जहाँ पे हम सारी अपनी सेंसेस को अंदर ले जाके ऑलमोस्ट रेस्ट करते हैं, विच इज लाइक अ फेमिनिन एनर्जी. स्पीकिंग अगेन अबाउट द फेमिनिन एनर्जी, वन ऑफ द रीजन व्हाई इंसोम्निया इज इंक्रीजिंग इज बिकॉज ऑफ
हाँ.
दिस. क्योंकि वी हैव लॉस्ट आवर टच विद ईज इन लाइफ. हमेशा स्टिम्युलेशन स्टिम्युलेशन स्टिम्युलेशन, यू नो. तो
Talk to me. I have recently lost my sleep. Like since last month or so, I am
हाँ.
not getting a good night's sleep. Even my
हम्म.
tarot reader, she was reading my card. I did not ask her about my sleep, but उसने कार्ड निकाला और बोला कि तुम अच्छे से नहीं सो पा रही हो.
हाँ, तो जरूर
तो
आपका 9 ऑफ स्वर्ड्स आया होगा. कि जो इंडिकेट करता है कि इंसोम्निया है, इंसान को बहुत चल रहा है दिमाग में। देयर आर सो मेनी स्वर्ड्स बेसिकली मींस द एनर्जी ऑफ थॉट्स, राइट? सो देयर
हुँ।
आर सो मेनी थॉट्स कि अगर इंसान चाहे भी तो वो बेडरूम ही एक बैटलफील्ड बन गई है। हम कल ये करेंगे, हमने कल ये किया, उसने
हाँ।
ऐसे कैसे परसीव कर दिया, कोई नोटिफिकेशन में से मिस ना हो जाए, फलाना फलाना फलाना, फोमो, ये वो। सो दैट्स अ क्लासिक नाइन ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स का इन टैरो का। आई आई थिंक आपका कार्ड आएगा, आप चेक करके बताना।
डेफिनेटली। और जैसे व्हेन आई वाज स्पीकिंग विद यू नेहा अर्लियर, यू आल्सो मेंशन्ड कि बिकॉज हमारी ये जो फेमिनिन एनर्जी है
हम्म,
कम होने की वजह से या डिसबैलेंस की वजह से हार्मोनल प्रॉब्लम्स बढ़ रही हैं, और मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल से रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, या पीसीओएस पीसीओडी है, इसको भी हमें थोड़ा सा समझाइए।
हम्म। सो यू सी, होता ये है कि ओके, सो लेट्स लुक एट द फेमिनिन एनर्जी, कि वो है कैसी एनर्जी ऑफ क्रिएशन, एंड हाउ अ ह्यूमन बीइंग क्रिएट्स within physically is through our hormones. So we need a good balanced amount of various hormones to produce. Okay. Other than that, there are these other hormones which help us in acting out in the world, in doing, in hustling. So because I'm not a expert in terms of, I'm not a doctor in this, I'm not a gynecologist, therefore I will keep it to what I do know about it, what I have seen over number of years while working with women through womb healing. So then what happens is that women who have early on, due to their experiences, rejected, because it helped them, rejected femininity, their female figures
Mm.
around them, due to what was happening to them. And while growing up, if the approach has been of doing and constantly having an outwards energy, that affects our hormonal balance, because the hormone which helps us be active, stay active, do increases. And on the contrary, so those hormones which help us in resting, which help us in embracing our cycles, the cycles within, they go for a toss. And when they go for a toss, and when the other one increases, that is what leads to such concerns as PCOS, PCOD, endometriosis. And I was recently working with somebody who came to me with a different issue, but somehow we got into the concern that she has, which is endometriosis. And we could track it back through, so I do intergenerational empowerment coaching. We could track it back to that the females in her lineage, they were married. So there was this nani who was married, who was the second wife of the husband, only because the first wife couldn't have kids.
Mm.
So at one point, this man was married to two people.
Wow.
And then there was this other aunt of this client of mine who was sent back home because she couldn't bear kids,
Mm.
or she was having some delays in that. And eventually, trigger warning, she let go of her life.
Oh, that's sad.
So their pain, or through the womb, because it's such a womb story, this individual was facing, that there was an overprotection in the womb,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which was today leading to these issues. And often these issues look towards a lack of safety that the woman has experienced through her childhood or intergenerationally. And now this is the body's way to protect her, to keep her safe, such that when required, she can run, when required, she can hustle, when required, she can fetch for herself, which is ideally a job of the masculine
Mm-hmm.
community. Or this is
Mm-hmm.
how she overactivates her masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
which then gives issues in her hormones and therefore these
So
issues.
I wanted to talk about womb healing because you just mentioned it, but now you said something else, so I want to understand that also. कि
100%.
आपने ये बोला कि this was ideally the job of a man, right? तो अभी आज के टाइम पे अगर
I
कोई इसको
actually
सुने।
said this is ideally the job of masculine.
हाँ, सॉरी,
So it
मैस्कुलिन।
is so there's a difference
हाँ।
that is the masculine which comes to protect and the
हुँ,
feminine nurtures. It's not male and female in terms of gender.
हुँ,
And which is where today there's a lot of toss in relationships and in general outside happening. So if suppose I am outside in the world and constantly I am facing some issue wherein I feel a lack of safety, my internal masculine will get activated to protect me.
हुँ,
Okay. But now what happens is that while being a woman, if I am so little bit of lack of safety, kind of is okay. But agar be it the internet, be it the corporate world, be it my house, be it outside, inside, wherever, if I'm constantly facing a lack of safety, I am constantly activating my masculine, isn't it?
हुँ,
And that is how my internal body hormonal secretion constantly produces those masculine hormones, and therefore my femininity suppresses, which is what PCOS, PCOD, and all of these things are. Make
हाँ,
sense
हाँ।
now?
हाँ, हाँ, इट डज़ मेक सेंस। आई ऑल्सो वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि अ, ये जो प्रोटेक्शन की या प्रोवाइडिंग की एनर्जी है, इसको मैस्कुलिन क्यों बोलते हैं? और जो वुमेन की बॉडी की एनर्जी है, उसको हमेशा नर्चरिंग, अ, केयर गिविंग ऐसा क्यों माना जाता है? लाइक इसको ये कैसे डिसाइड हुआ कि ये मैस्कुलिन है, ये फेमिनिन है?
ये डिसाइड अभी आजकल में नहीं हुआ है, राइट?
हुँ,
एंड ये दैट इज हाउ नेचर इज, यू
हुँ,
सी। इट्स टू से कि जो हिल्स हैं वो हिल्स का जॉब क्यों करती हैं और वो गार्डन का जॉब क्यों नहीं करती हैं, या
हुँ,
फिर जो गार्डन्स हैं उसमें फ्लावर्स वहां क्यों उगते हैं और डिजर्ट में क्यों नहीं उगते हैं, बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाट नेचर इज. There are environments conducive for one in one area, and there are environments conducive for something else in another area, and that is how life is. And
हुँ,
so is the feminine or the masculine aspect also, that it's not something that one somebody some philosopher thought of and आज से ये masculine है, आज से ये feminine है.
हाँ, हाँ,
Definitions are a way where a human brain understands things,
हुँ,
labels and definitions. Otherwise इसकी कोई requirement नहीं है, right? अब जब वो फूल खिलता है तो वो ये नहीं कहता hello feminine coming up, right?
या
या फिर अगर कहीं पे लेट्स से जब जंगल में वाइल्ड फायर लगती है तो वो पहले अनाउंस नहीं करती है मैस्कुलिन कमिंग अप. इट
हुँ,
जस्ट इज. वी हैव क्रिएटेड दीज डेफिनेशंस फॉर आवर ओन अंडरस्टैंडिंग.
हुँ,
हमने
हुँ,
शिवा पार्वती को शिवा पार्वती का डेफिनेशन दे दिया, एक ही शिव जी हैं तो वो मैस्कुलिन है, पार्वती जी हैं तो वो फेमिनिन है. बट वो
हुँ,
वैसे भी एग्जिस्ट कर ही रहे थे. दैट
हाँ,
अप्रोच ऑफ somebody or something nurturing and somebody and something going out there fetching for the protection and for the structure and sustenance, that was always there. क्योंकि हमें एंड ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम क्योंकि हमें शेम आ गई है कि हम तो फेमिनिन नहीं है या हम तो मैस्कुलिन ही हैं, तो अब
हुँ,
हम उससे दूर जाते जा रहे हैं. नेचर हैज नथिंग टू डू विद इट. इट वाज, इट विल बी, एंड इट हैज ऑलवेज बीन. सो हमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है ये डेफिनेशन से, ये हमें खुद को समझना है. आई मीन दैट्स नॉट रियली
या
anybody who can answer that.
हुँ,
We
हुँ।
needed definitions, we created them, now we are only being averse to them. अब उसमें क्या ही कर सकते हैं.
यस, यस, दैट्स व्हाट आई वांटेड यू टू क्लैरिफाई, बिकॉज़ एनीवन हू लिसन्स ना, फिर उनको भी यही लगेगा कि अच्छा फेमिनिन एनर्जी लो होती है। मतलब जैसे आपने भी बोला कि शेम शेम एसोसिएट कर दिया कि
हाँ,
मैं फेमिनिन नहीं हूँ, मैं मैस्कुलिन हूँ।
करेक्ट.
है ना? तो ये
नहीं वो ऐसे
शेम वाली जो
आउटवर्डली
चीज़
बोलते
है,
नहीं
ये
है कि
कहाँ
मैं
से आई?
फेमिनिन नहीं हूँ, मैं मैस्कुलिन हूँ. वो कहते
हाँ,
हैं नहीं हम क्यों नहीं कर सकते ये.
हाँ,
दैट्स द
हाँ।
पॉइंट, राइट मैत्री? सब करने को तो हर कोई सब कुछ कर सकता है ना, और कर ही
हुँ,
रहे हैं.
हुँ,
अगर कर रहे हैं तो फिर करो, विच इज फाइन. अब अगर प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, विच इट
या
विल, बिकॉज वी आर समवेयर गोइंग अगेंस्ट द नेचर, तो
हुँ,
उस प्रॉब्लम को एड्रेस करने के लिए, or if you want to address the problem, then we have to be open to hearing certain ways in which nature works as well. It is not it is there is a massive rejection of femininity and feminine which happens on an everyday basis. No matter how empowered we become, we will
ट्रू,
still be like aise to nahi rehna. And which is where I said originally our introduction to
या
these energies has been a power play. This
हुँ,
to be this is powerful, to be that is not powerful.
या
To be this is that you have achieved something in life, and to be that is because that is what our introduction into these energies have been. The same goes for menstrual cycles. क्यों नहीं हम सब कुछ कर सकते if we are menstruating,
Mm-hmm.
right? I myself have gone through it. These questions, that why
Mm-hmm.
can I not? But the point is not that. The point is we women have an inner mechanism of cycles within. Just the way winters में फूल नहीं खिलेंगे because it is winters, and स्प्रिंग में फूल खिलेंगे, आपको स्नो नहीं दिखाई देगी because it is spring. Similarly, we, our internal winters is when we menstruate and therefore we require rest, just as we go within when there are external winters. So ये
Mm-hmm.
साइकिल्स हमारे हमने इतनी रिजेक्ट किए हैं, जस्ट एज मार्क जकरबर्ग आपने जो बिगिनिंग में बोला था
Hmm.
कि क्योंकि ये बहुत ज्यादा हो गया है इसीलिए whatever, like but who is he to decide,
हाँ.
right? But that is what I'm saying, shame हो गई है.
हाँ.
We have started to feel ashamed of our own gender and of our own energies, and that is something which has been passed on to us even today. अगर आप किसी को बोलोगे to tell somebody that you're a feminist has actually become an insult, right? Without even understanding the concept of why or where is the requirement of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how much this energy has been thwarted, कि हम तो ये नहीं करेंगे, मत करो. फिर जो प्रॉब्लम्स आई हैं उनको फेस करो. The toss in the relationship, the internal issues with health, the all these other issues, that infertility. And by the way, infertility does not look only towards the woman. Just because a woman
Mm-hmm.
has a womb,
Yeah.
so the myth is that infertility looks towards the woman. No, even the testosterone, sorry, even the sperm counts are decreasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are speaking about two portals over here, which are actually what? Disbalanced. It's not just one. It's just that the womb is the container, it's a portal to contain life. But how is that life created? It is not created in isolation. It is created through the help of sperm. अब वो sperm count भी तो reduce हो रहा है ना.
Mm-hmm.
So infertility only doesn't look towards a woman or feminine.
Mm-hmm.
So one issue is not something which is only one person's or one gender's issue.
Mm-hmm.
It is now becoming a societal issue.
Yeah. ओके. तो नेहा, ये जो डिस्कशन था बड़ा ही एक्साइटिंग, बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग था, और इसमें एक वर्ड बार बार आ रहा था, वूम हीलिंग. तो वूम हीलिंग के बारे में मैंने थोड़ा पढ़ा,
Hmm.
एंड आई रियलाइज, मतलब व्हाट आई अंडरस्टूड, कि ये हमारी डिवाइन फेमिनिन को अवेकन करने का एक तरीका
Hmm.
है. और ये भी देखा कि जैसे आपने भी बताया कि एंडोमेट्रोसिस हो गया, पीसीओएस,
Hmm.
पीसीओडी हो गया, इनफर्टिलिटी हो गया, इन सब में शायद वूम हीलिंग को वूम हीलिंग हेल्प कर सकता है. राइट. तो एग्जैक्टली होता क्या है वूम हीलिंग?
Hmm. Beautiful question. So, womb healing, Maitri, is when, so is the process of reconnecting with a sacred space of creation, which is inside our womb, right? And this is both in womb healing, we connect with it both physically as well as energetically. Okay. And so it's about releasing the stored, womb healing specifically is about releasing the stored pain, ancestral imprints, and suppressed emotions, so that we can fully embody the feminine power of creation. And it's not just for those who wants to conceive a child. That is the myth कि भाई मेरे को तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मेरे तो बच्चे हो चुके हैं, तो will I need womb healing? So it's not just for those who want to conceive a child. It is for anyone who wants to birth a new version of themselves, who wants some ease and comfort in life. Womb healing also looks towards abundance in life, money in life. So for people who often say कि मेरे पास पैसा आता है पर रुकता नहीं है, so you see, that also looks towards womb healing and nervous system work, which is interconnected. And that is what exactly womb healing is. So womb is basically our inner portal of creation. And the physical creation also happens over there, which is the child. And energetic creation of manifestation also happens from there. So whenever somebody, if there is somebody, be it a male, be it a female, who feels stuck in life, who feels there is no movement happening, or who feels that I'm not able to control my emotions, right? Or who feels that emotions are becoming my enemy, patterns they're repeating and they don't know why are they repeating. All of this looks towards womb healing as a solution.
ओके। तो
Yeah.
वूम हीलिंग में क्या होता है? मैंने देखा कि किसी चीज़ें थी, योनि मसाज, योनि स्टीमिंग
Yeah.
और साउंड बाथ भी उसमें इंक्लूडेड था। बहुत सारी चीज़ें थी, तो बिकॉज़ यू आर एन एक्सपर्ट, प्लीज़ टेल अस।
So womb healing mein basically we make use of energetic work, we make use of breath work, we drop into our body, connect with our womb, and through our hands, are you there?
यस।
Yeah. And through our hands, we physically connect with our womb. And then we do certain meditations and visualizations. There's a lot of information which is shared with the client also. And it is a very collaborative approach where we go through our mind's eye, we go within and we fetch the stories of the womb. Now, I don't, now, Maitri, it is very interesting. Womb is a muscle, right? And just the way, have you heard of the concept of muscle memory?
यस।
Yeah. So muscle memory is created when repeatedly we do something. And if intergenerationally, repeatedly something has been happening, that gets stored in the muscle memory of the womb. Why? Because if you look at the pelvic grid of a human being, where the womb rests, it's like a cup. The job of the cup is to contain. So whatever is inside a cup, it will spill out. So a cup which has coffee inside will not spill out milk if it drops. Similarly, within our womb, if one of the indications why you need womb healing is that if what spills out is shadow emotions, anger, frustration, rejection, abandonment, repeated patterns which we don't like, then that means that is what is stored in the cup. And when we connect with the cup, if we are cleaning a external cup, what do? We connect with it, we hold it, and then we put it under the water, and then we clean it, right? So for a lot of us, just as we discussed in the past, that connection itself has gone. So if you look at females, the way they connect with the womb is hardly there, only when they're birthing. We see all our body organs at all times. We have so much knowledge about, let's say, even liver health, heart health, etc., everything, but hardly anything about our womb and our womb health.
या, ट्रू।
And even for males, the way they connect with the womb after they have been birthed, which by the way they came from the womb, after that also the only way of connecting with the womb, actually they have no connection with the womb, right? Unless they are also now involved as a co-parent in a birthing process. So we have system, there is a loss of connection entirely with this magical portal, the creation portal. So in womb healing, we first create a connection back with the womb, okay, through certain practices. Um, Another myth about womb healing is that if somebody is perimenopause or after menopause, or if it's a male, then is the womb healing not relevant? That's untrue because the energetic imprint is always there. And as far as the male is concerned, they came out of the womb, right? And therefore, that connection with the womb will always be. It's just that when it comes to male, the energy is outwards. When it comes to females, the energy is inwards.
ओके, तो मेन ऑल्सो गेट वूम हीलिंग डन?
They may not, I mean, when we are doing it with men, it may not specifically be called womb healing. I would specifically call it emotional healing, but that presence and that connection will be definitely there. Yeah,
ओके। तो
yeah,
अगर हम वूम की बात करें तो इसमें किस तरीके के ट्रॉमास स्टोर होते हैं? जैसे आपने बोला कि जनरेशनल चीज़ें आती जाती हैं,
yeah.
तो क्योंकि बोलते हैं ना कि बॉडी कीप्स द स्कोर। अगर आपको एंजाइटी फील होती है तो स्टमक में फील हो रही है, कुछ किसी को चेस्ट में फील हो रही है, तो वूम में क्या स्टोर होता है?
वुम में एक तो हाँ डेफिनेटली ट्रॉमा, अनदर थिंग, ट्रॉमा की डेफिनेशन with in context to what we are speaking, is not just the big things.
हम्म,
They're definitely the big things that may have happened in our life also, or uh, in the life of our ancestors also. But instead of trauma, we can also call it wounds. Wounds means there's things which are small but they
Mhm.
affected us. For us, they were big. Or for
Yes.
our energetic imprint, they were big. Because the only job of our body is to keep us safe. तो अगर उसको हल्का सा भी लगता है ना कि ये चीज़ लैक ऑफ सेफ्टी है, ठीक है? और हम उसको नहीं कर सकते अभी एड्रेस, तो वो हम इंटरनली स्टोर कर लेते हैं या कर चुके हैं अभी तक। Now
Mhm.
coming back to your question as to what all trauma can be stored in the womb. So womb can carry unprocessed grief because पहले ज़माने में अगर आप जाओगे तो एंड ये बहुत सारी स्टोरीज ऐसी मेरी क्लाइंट्स की हैं कि हाँ ये हो गया था दादाजी के साथ नाना जी के साथ बट दे वर स्ट्रांग नानी जी के साथ बट शी वाज स्ट्रांग उन्होंने सब लिया आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल मेरे एक क्लाइंट की कहानी है कि रियल स्टोरी ऑब्वियसली कि उनके दादाजी की जो बहन थी शी डाइड इन चाइल्ड बर्थ ट्रिगर वार्निंग सो उसके इमिडिएटली बाद जो उनके हस्बैंड थे दादाजी की बहन के हस्बैंड उन्होंने दूसरी शादी कर ली तो दादाजी ने इस क्लाइंट के क्या किया कि उन्हीं को अपनी बहन मान लिया
Mm. Okay.
ठीक है मच लेटर इन लाइफ द क्लाइंट गॉट टू नो कि ये तो उनकी रियल बहन है भी नहीं विच मीन्स कि ये उनकी रियल दादी है भी नहीं
Mhm. Mm.
बुआ दादी ये उनकी रियल बुआ दादी है ही नहीं तो यू सी एक इंटायर इंसान लीनिएज से एक्सक्लूड हो गया
Ah.
वो तो हुआ ही हुआ neither did Dadaji nor did the family got the opportunity to grieve this person, isn't it?
Mhm.
Carry on, life moves on. तो grieving की opportunity नहीं मिली तो unprocessed griefs it gets stored in the womb.
Mhm.
Okay. Then suppressed creativity. आपने कभी देखा है ये इतना आर्ट करके क्या कर लोगे मैथ्स पढ़ो साइंस पढ़ो आजकल शायद इतना नहीं होता बट पहले बहुत होता था तो दैट
Mhm.
suppressed creativity it gets stored in the womb. Mother wound. What is mother wound? Mother से somehow disconnect हो गए. Okay, that's a huge topic in itself. I will cover it someday. But mother wound also goes and it settles in the womb. Then ancestral pain. The example that I just gave to you for endometriosis. So that ancestral pain, the loss, the grief, the shame, etc. All of that it goes and settles in our container, in our womb. And if you feel blocked in love, in success, in life, in abundance, in money, in self expression, your womb may be holding a story that needs to be heard. And in womb healing, we hear those stories, we process them, we connect with them, and we resolve them.
Mhm.
So, that in sum total is the beautiful work of womb healing.
Yeah, that sounds very intense, and I think healing also when done nicely, when we are in the hands of an expert, when we are open to receiving the healing. I think this can do magic.
Absolutely. And receiving is also, by the way, looked for from feminine energy. So people
Mhm.
who have an issue with receiving money, receiving increment in salary, receiving a promotion, receiving compliments, receiving gifts,
Hmm.
that also looks towards feminine energy and the womb stuckness.
Oh my God. So many things. I'm like, अच्छा ये सब कुछ स्टोर कर रखा है। तो
हाँ
बहुत सारी चीज़ें इनको समझना ज़रूरी है, अवेयरनेस ज़रूरी है और एक्सेप्टेंस भी ज़रूरी है। तो
एक
जब हम
एक
हील
बहुत
कर रहे हैं, हाँ।
मैत्री एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट एंड आई एम सॉरी आई एम कटिंग यू शॉर्ट बिकॉज एक्सेप्टेंस
हुँ,
इज अ ह्यूज टॉपिक इन इटसेल्फ सो
यस,
अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल से कि फॉरगिव कर दो वी
हाँ,
वर स्पीकिंग अबाउट व्हाट स्टोर्ड इन द वूम सो
हुँ,
ये जो हम अनप्रोसेस फॉरगिवनेस कर देते हैं ना बिकॉज हमने कहीं सुना है कि फॉरगिवनेस अच्छी होती है तो वो अनप्रोसेस्ड इमोशन भी जाके वूम में ही सेटल होता है और रिजेंटमेंट में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है द डिफरेंस बिटवीन फॉरगिवनेस एंड एक्सेप्टेंस इज दैट एक्सेप्टेंस फॉरगिवनेस सेज कि जा मैं बड़ा हूं मैंने तुझे छोड़ा मैंने तुझे माफ किया एंड acceptance is that I'm also human, you are also human. I accept what you did and I accept the consequences of it. You will also have to accept the consequences of it. And thereon we decide whether we want to continue with this person or we don't want to continue with the person. Forgiveness does not mean, or acceptance does not mean unconditional, तूने जो भी किया सब माफ. There are consequences. We cannot not embrace the consequences.
हाँ, ओके। और अगर इसी कॉन्सेप्ट को, एक्सेप्टेंस को, सेल्फ एक्सेप्टेंस, बॉडी एक्सेप्टेंस, सेल्फ लव इसमें लाएं, तो
Hmm.
इसका फेमिनिन एनर्जी से क्या कनेक्शन है नेहा?
100% connection है. Because you know, the masculine energy looks outside, my acceptance in the outside world, and feminine energy looks within, my acceptance within myself of me.
हम्म,
So which is where the body acceptance, the self love acceptance, the way I am, do I accept it, comes into picture. And from what point of view, Maitri? From, not from the point of view of I accept it and this is how it will always be. From
हम्म,
the point of view that I accept this is where I am today. And once you accept where you are today, you will also know now what to work, what you need to work on, and what you need to let go of, and what you are apt in.
हम्म,
जब तक वो inner acceptance नहीं है, तब तक you are just following some outwardly idea of a template which leaves you unfulfilled, because that will never be connected with who you truly are, because that's not important if
हम्म,
it is only a chase of the outside world.
हम्म,
And that is where it is connected. Inner acceptance is connected to femininity, to the rest in who I am. Again, I'm just reiterating, the problem is where some people take it as who I am is who I am, and I'm never going to change. That's not what feminine energy is, or that's not what self acceptance is. Self acceptance is, this is who I am. I accept where I am right now. From here on I will decide what needs to change, what needs to be embraced, what I'm great at, what I need to be more greater at. And that's from where life gets momentum. We don't get stuck in acceptance. Also, the cycles,
हम्म।
that's what the feminine energy
हाँ,
is.
लेटिंग गो इज इम्पोर्टेंट। आप
Letting
एक ही
go,
चीज को पकड़ के नहीं बैठ सकते।
बिल्कुल भी नहीं. So letting go also looks towards femininity. That is how
हम्म,
manifestation happens. अगर एक बच्चे को आप womb में 9 महीने से ज्यादा रखोगे तो बच्चा कभी मैनिफेस्ट नहीं होगा. उसको
हम्म,
निकालना पड़ेगा. जब निकालेंगे तब भी अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड जो है वो अटैच्ड होगा. उस अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड में से जब पूरा एनर्जी ट्रांसफर हो जाता है, तब अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड काट के आप बच्चे को जीने देते हो ना. इसी प्रकार अपनी मैनिफेस्टेशन को भी एक बार अपॉर्चुनिटी तो दो, लेट गो तो करो, होने तो दो. That's also feminine, to let go
हम्म।
and to sit with the cycle of that manifestation.
Yes. So this was so beautiful, Neha. And in the end, I want to know कि हमारे जैसे लोग जो घर पे हैं और सुन रहे हैं इन चीज़ों को, वो अपनी फेमिनिन साइड को हाइटेन करना चाहते हैं,
Mm.
डिवाइन फेमिनिन में जाना चाहते हैं, तो कुछ ऐसी सिंपल प्रैक्टिसेस जो हम
Yeah.
डे टू डे लाइफ में कर सकें, प्लीज़ हमें बताएं।
Yeah, definitely. So एक ना प्रैक्टिस मुझे वेरी अर्ली ऑन बड़ी अच्छी, बहुत अमेजिंग सी लगी थी. आई होप यू ऑल एंजॉय इट ऑल्सो. सो डू
हम्म,
यू नो दैट देर आर फेमिनिन वॉइसेस दैट वी कैन मेक. Okay. Masculine voices are the guttural voices, and if people want, they can go and research on it. Feminine voices are the voices of flow. For example, when you take a, what's your favorite dessert, Maitri?
आई लाइक चॉकलेट आइसक्रीम।
Yeah, so chocolate ice cream. Okay, imagine you haven't had chocolate ice cream for a very long time, and today is that day where you are going to have the chocolate ice cream. So you put it in your mouth, and what's the first voice which will come out of you?
हम्म,
Mm. So, yes. These are very feminine voices.
हम्म,
This was an actual, trick that I told one of my clients, that whenever you feel you've done too much, sit with yourself, think of something that you truly enjoy, and make out those feminine voices. You see, hmm, that sigh, that's a feminine ease, entering yourself into ease. So आप बैठे हुए हो, पानी पी रहे हो, ठीक है. सिंपलेस्ट चीज से लेते हैं कि पानी पी रहे हैं हम. पानी पी के
Huh, it's normal. You do it.
Feminine,
Yeah.
right? So maybe have a routine of having water, or then whatever next you drink or eat, convert, do it with these feminine voices. Enjoy it. Because these are voices of pleasure, also what comes out in orgasm, right?
Hmm.
These are the
Yeah,
voices which
that's a
come
fact.
out. So that is the connection with the femininity that we have through voice. Maitri, the way our vulva looks and the way our vocal cord looks, it's the same shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shape of the namaskar also, it's the same. So
Mm.
that is where the masculine and feminine comes together. It creates a portal. So which is why when we are engaging with our feminine energy and we take out those voices coming out of the vocal cord, yes, yes, uh, they manifest into life as feminine energy. So let's say, when I'm sitting across with my client, and they're saying something and I say, ha ha, ye sahi hai, ha, yes, yes, yes. That's very forceful. But if I say, yeah, I see
Mhm.
what you mean. You see? It immediately puts the person at ease, creates a safe environment. The person feels heard, nurtured. Even though in both the cases I'm hearing. But in the second case, you feel more heard. So similarly, you can do a mirror talk with yourself also every morning. Hey
Mhm.
Neha, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life. Hmm. Amazing. You're going to have a beautiful day, right? So, this is one. The second is to sit in nothingness. So, to have that sacred pause. Again, when the world outside gets too much, too stimulating, it's okay to shut it out and stay. Recently, I gave this tip to my client who was facing constant issues at work. And I told the client, is there a garden where you can just sit for some time and soak in the sun? The client said yes. I was like, can you go and spend 5 minutes over there without your phone and just be? So they did. When they came back, they told me that Neha, initially it was uncomfortable because those thoughts were coming and it was very tough. But because आपने बोला था 15 minute, तो मैं 15 minute I sat, and at some point I felt because when you go and you sit outside in the world, you're able to see the expansiveness of the universe. You're able to understand that this is not it, and that's where you embrace the cycles of femininity. Ye bhi move on hoga. So the client said that when I came back, I was feeling a lot better, because you see, the entire idea of sitting with ourselves, sitting with our emotions, has been tossed out of the window.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me too. I
Yeah,
just can't sit with my thoughts with myself.
yeah. So a lot of clients of mine tell me that it's not easy, Neha. And I'm like, yes, it will not be easy in the beginning.
Hmm.
But if you cannot befriend yourself, then you are dependent on who you befriend.
Hmm.
So if I cannot spend time with myself and I'm constantly looking for stimulation, then I'm constantly dependent upon the availability of other people, be it my family. फोन उठा के किसी से बात करना, या बाहर जाना, या किसी के साथ कॉफी पीने के लिए तो बाहर जाना ही है. And when I'm constantly dependent on someone else, that also means that I'm constantly in a space of ki, like there is no ease in life.
Mhm.
There is no independence in life. Even though we are working, we are doing everything to be independent, but there is still no independence in life. And resentment accrues. Because what if I need you right now? Because I cannot sit with my emotions and you're not available. So a lot of times people tell me that Neha, I am available for everybody, but मेरे लिए कोई available नहीं है.
You are not available for yourself.
You're not available for yourself.
Hmm.
Why is there a need of this overgiving? कि नहीं, अगर किसी को जरूरत है तो मैं होंगी ही या मैं होऊंगा ही. And this is your way, this is a way in which the universe is telling you that you're not comfortable with yourself.
Hmm.
Hope this helps. Easy
Yes, it
technique, but
does, Neha.
very,
Thank you
very
so much for sharing that. And one more thing came to me. How do we know that our feminine side is getting better? Like it is increasing, the feminine energy is getting
yeah,
there.
yeah. One of the ways in which we would know is first we are able to sit with ourselves. We are
Hmm.
able to sit with our emotions. People have started to compliment us more, and we are receiving it with joy. When we start getting gifts, when we start getting increments and promotions without even asking for it, when we don't find the need of uh, a Saturday weekend kind of thing, and we are pretty okay sitting with ourselves. There's a difference between aloofing ourselves, like being
Hmm.
aloof, and being okay with sitting with our emotions or being okay with sitting with ourselves. There's a difference. When we feel rich, when we feel joyful, when rhythm and dance comes easily to us, when we are just going and we know that we are carrying a smile on our face. Nobody has cracked a joke, but we are just joyous and happy in life. When we are truly enjoying life, which is not dependent on how others make us feel. When people come and tell us that अरे ये हुआ इसने तेरे को, did you not get angry, and you're like, no, you did not, I accepted it the way it was. I accepted. When that acceptance comes inside, where other people cannot then control you because you're not accepting something, even about yourself. Let's say if somebody comes to me and says, "Arey Neha, look at the way you look, so blah blah," and I'm like, but I'm like, and then that does not trigger you.
Hmm.
That does not make you say, who are you to tell me that? You're like, okay, आप अपनी तरफ सही हो, मैं मेरे को नहीं feel हो रहा, but ठीक है, whatever your point of view.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
is where you know that you're truly engaging with your feminine energy. And the reason is because feminine energy is empowered. It is empowered because you are very comfortable with who you are and where you are in life. You're very comfortable with that. So, a lot of people ask me this also, that if I'm comfortable, that means I'm never progressing. I'm never doing anything, but that's not true, right? When you're comfortable with yourself, with that ease, whatever you will create will have a strong foundation rather than the foundation of anxiety and I did it because I had to.
Yes,
That
ease.
will be long lasting.
Mhm. Okay, wow. This was really insightful, Neha. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. And please now let us know how can my listeners connect with you.
I am available on Instagram. They can come and DM me or follow me on my Instagram handle, Coach Neha Goyal, which is CoachNehaGoyal. I have also created a free WhatsApp community for those who want to join it. It's called the Stream Circle, and it is basis registration. So that is another way wherein I share a lot of information. Yeah, these are the two top ways. I also have my YouTube channel, which is also by the name of Coach Neha Goyal. So these are a few ways they can get in touch with me.
Wonderful. I'm really grateful to you, Neha, for giving your time to Little Fixes, for sharing your expertise with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me here, Matri. And it's a beautiful topic. I loved speaking about it. Your questions were so relevant. Thank you.